Good evening, everyone. This is Balogum, Santero Balogum, and I wanted to do another video for you this evening regarding the cauldron. This implement here is one of my favorite tools to use because I have been attracted to the cauldron since I was a kid. I've been attracted to the possibilities of what can be used with the cauldron, what can be done in the cauldron. And so as a result, I wanted to do a video today because I don't see that many books or that many videos about Cauldron Magick. It seems to be something that's taboo. It seems to be something that people shy away from. So I wanted to do a video about it because maybe my love for the cauldron, the things that I've learned and the things that have been successful for me from the use of the cauldron can help someone else's life. I wanted to say first of all that this is how it should be done. It's not one of those videos. It's a video just to inspire people and tell people how I have used the cauldron and how it has been successful for me in my practice, successful for me in rituals, and successful for me in my day-to-day uses as a practitioner. You know, there are so many different implements that we can use, and some people have cauldrons that are made of copper. Some people have a cauldron that's made of ceramic, and then there are cauldrons like this one that are cast iron, and which happens to be the one that I really am attracted to and that I have been using for a very long time. It's endless what you can do with the cauldron. You know, you see so many different things on the table. I put a Visa bill. I put my American Express mail on here. And the reason I did that is because you can use the cauldron for money. You can take your bills, you can take the envelopes for your bills and fill them with money herbs. Fill them with money resins and money oil, and then put them in the cauldron so that they can be worked on. It's a place to hold your things, and it's a place of power. You know, in the South, in the hoodoo practitioners and the Southern community, they use cast iron skillets. And anyone who knows anything about cooking, when you take that cast iron skillet, they call it seasoned, where they take oil and they put that oil in that cast iron skillet, and then they put it in the oven and set it to a certain degree and leave it there for a while. And what that does is it does something to the iron that makes it where each and every time you use it, it gets better. And as a result, anything you cook in your cast iron skillet is going to taste better because of it being sealed. And it's the same thing with your cauldron. Even if you are working on something today that's involving money, and then tomorrow you wanted to work on something else that's involving healing, what I like to do is I like to take a little Florida water and a little water and just take a paper towel and wipe out. Not drench it, not try to get all of the workings out of it, because when you're working with a cauldron, you're building magic. You're building every working you do, every ritual you do, every time you are using the cauldron to petition the spirits that you work with. That cauldron is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so as a result, like I said, I take a little Florida water and I take a little water on a paper towel and just clean it out. And then when I'm getting ready for my next thing that I'm going to work on, whether it be a money working for bills, whether it's healing, whether it's anything that I'm working on, I go in again and take those implements that's needed, whether it be just oils, whether it be just incense, whether it's resins, or whether it's a combination of everything. And I put it in that cauldron, and this cauldron has a top to it, so it has a lid. And I like that because in my mind, I see the lid as holding that energy in there. Whatever that request is that I've put in the cauldron, whatever it is that I'm working on, I put that top over it and it seals it in for me. It's holding that energy, so that energy is not going anywhere. It's contained right there within the bowl of, or the bowels of the cauldron. In many different societies, they use cauldrons, and as I stated earlier, you know, some are copper, some are ceramic, some are metal, some are cast iron, and every civilization has used them throughout history. Every civilization has, and different practitioners of old and practitioners of today have used cauldrons. It is such a great tool. And I want to go back to the top. I don't want anyone to think that if you have a cauldron and you don't have a top, that you have to run out and go buy a top, or you have to, you know, buy a new cauldron with a top. You can get a cloth, you can get a towel that you set aside just for the purpose of covering your cauldron, and you can put it over it when you are working with it. You can buy an altar cloth just specifically for your cauldron, so that when you're working on it, you can cover it. You can, I just think of, like I said, this is not the only way to do it. This is not a tutorial to say this is the way to do it, but this is a way that I have found to be most beneficial for me. I have also used the cauldron for charging. If I make a mojo bag, if I make a gree bag, if I, like you see here, I have a bottle with some oil next to it. If I make some oils and I want them to get stronger, I place them, after I prepare them, in the cauldron, put the top over it, and then I leave it. And then I work on it continuously if that is what's needed, or if that's what I feel my spirit guide is leading me to do. I come back and I touch on it in the cauldron. I place my hands in the cauldron while I am working and praying over the oils, while I am working and praying over the request, or praying over the bills that I have, or whatever the situation. If I have a client who needs healing and I've done something for them, whether it be a mojo bag for healing, whether it's a candle, whether it's some incense, whether it's some herbs or something that I'm going to give them for a tea, I place it in the cauldron, and then I come back and I pray over it. I work on it and I let it stay there so that it can get stronger and stronger and stronger. And again, going back to the Hoodoo Society and the Southern practitioners who use the cast iron for cooking. Layers. I layer. I might put in, like I said, my bills and write my request. And then I'll go over and get the appropriate herbs, the appropriate resin, the appropriate oils, and I layer. And today I may do it and put my request and sprinkle a little bit of the herbs in, like my candle, sit, meditate, visualize, infuse it with my intention, and then leave it alone. Sometimes that's just enough. And then sometimes I come back and I add a little bit of something else to go with my request and leave it in the cauldron. And then I put the top on to make it that much stronger. The cauldron is one of those implements, again, that it's endless what you can do with it. It's your imagination, it's your practice, it's sitting meditating with the cauldron. The one thing I would say, the more that you work with the cauldron, the more that you will be inspired to do more workings with the cauldron. I'm Santero Balogum, and so in Santeria, in the path that I walk with, the cauldron is dedicated to the mighty Ogum. Ogum is the warrior, the iron worker. He's the one that is the blacksmith that works on things, and so that energy is a part of every cauldron that's out there, because in our practice it's dedicated to him. I'm going to do a video specifically dedicated to Ogum and the things that Ogum represents in the path that Ogum is in terms of Santeria for me, but in Wicca, in witchcraft, in any of those paths where you use a cauldron, again, the cauldron is limitless based on your imagination, based on the things that you bring to the table. You can charge in it. You can take water and pour water in it and scribe. You can take some water and put some herbs in and let them sit, and then pour them in the bath for a spiritual bath. You can take your candles and dress them and then place them in the cauldron to be charged. You can take your oils, your mojo bags. I have a little wooden tureen here, and I use that to put herbs in once I mix them up. And then you can take that and put it directly in the cauldron. And then I'll give another tidbit that I have used or can use. You can take a plant and you can pray over it. And if you have someone that's sick that does not know that you're a practitioner, but you want to bring some good energy to them, you can put that in the cauldron. And if it's too big to fit, you can put something over the cauldron like a plate or a piece of wood and put it on top of it and pray and ask that that energy of health and well-being be infused to that plant, and then give that plant to the person who is sick so that it can sit next to their bed, so that it can be in the room, so that that good energy can be provided for their healing. So again, this is just some of the things that I have used for the cauldron. There's so many different wonderful things that can be used, and there will be a part 2 to this video, because I think that, just speaking from my heart, I know that there's so many other things that I could say. There's so many different things that I want to convey, but just talking from my heart, I may not have said everything I wanted to. So I'm going to do another video. I wish you well. I wish that you would use the cauldron if you've never done it before. And it's a tool that you can utilize to benefit your life. Ache.